Hey, in this video we'll be talking about variables. Now, when you hear that word, you might be thinking about math class. So, in math class you have variables and you can compare them, you can let them have values, and that is pretty similar to what we do in programming. So the concept is kind of borrowed. Variables in computer programming are ways to store data. They're like little containers, and you can put data in there and you can refer to them by name. So that helps us a lot because when we write programs, we are effectively writing data transformers. So we need to refer to data and we need to manipulate that data in different ways to get the effects that we want. So I am in Visual Studio right now, and I've got my Hello World program working right now, and I want to make a variable. So in C#, variables start by declaring their type first. In math class, you don't really have different types of variables. They pretty much all represent numbers, right? So we'll start at least with a kind of number, and it's a little more restrictive in computer programming because we specify what kind of number. I'm going to start by typing int, that's for int, for integer, and so if you remember from math class, integers are like whole numbers, but they can be negative. So -1, 5, 7, 217, those are all integers. So I'm just going to be typing int, and then I have to give a name for the variable. So I'll type in number. That sounds fine. It's a little generic. And so if I just end it like that with a semicolon at the end of the line, this creates a variable, but it doesn't put anything, doesn't store any value into that variable. So if I wanted to check what was in that variable or use it in some way, it would be an error because there's nothing to do with it. So what I want to do instead is give a value to this number. So I type the name of the variable because I'm referring to it, and I'm going to use a special operator, which is just a single equals sign. And operators are going to do things to our variables. This particular operator is going to set the value that's in the variable. So if I wanted my number to be 3, then I can just use number gets or equal to 3, and that'll assign the number 3, the value 3, into my my variable. So now if I want to see what's in my variable, I can do console.writeLine, open parenthesis, and I can just put in number, the name of my variable. If I ran this, it would print hello world, and then it would wait for me to press enter. This readline call waits for that, and then it would create a variable, assign the value 3 into that variable, and then it would print out that number. So I should get 3, but then it just quits my program right away. So I'm going to copy this read line, paste it right down there, so that it'll wait again once it prints the number 3. Alright, so I'm pressing start to try it out. And here we go. Hello world, enter, 3, enter. Great, so that works. Often you'll see variables here within a function. So main is our entry point function, and we'll be assigning it, and the value can change. So I could do something like let's print out the number, and then after we print out the number, let's print out something else. .writeLine number plus 7. So you should have some expectation of what this is going to do. This is going to print out some value, but that value is going to be the result of this expression. So we have number plus 7, and so our number evaluates to 3, So it's 3 plus 7. We should expect that it's going to say 10. So if you go through all the steps of your program over again, hello world, press enter. Print out the number 3, and then print out the number 10. And then wait for enter. Let's make sure it works that way. Enter. We get 3, we get 10, and then press enter again and we're done. Alright, so there can be a lot of different types of variables, and we're going to deal with those in the next video. But the last thing I wanted to say was that I have used the assignment operator here to change the value of number, but I could very well set it to something right where I declare the variable. So let's say change it, make it 3 on that line. Saves a little bit of space, that's not that important, but you'll see this a lot. And then once I print that out, I'm going to change it. I'll use the assignment operator, and I can do it as often or wherever I want. I'm going to change it to, let's say, 11. And so when it finally gets to this right line, the value of number has changed. So it should now be 11 plus 7. So we should say hello world, 3, 18, and then we're done. All right. So hopefully that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.